This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN.Network. And joining me right now is Hamed Shahbazi. He is the founder and CEO of WELL.TO Technologies Corp, publicly traded company. The symbol is WELL on the TSX. Hamed, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you, man. So the last time we chatted was you were actually a keynote speaker at our virtual event back in April, the Planet MicroCap Showcase, where we talked about WELL being on the MicroCap graduation series. So I invite everybody to go check that out. We give like kind of the full overview of what's going on in WELL. So we're going to treat this as an update because a lot's happened even since then. So I figured I'd start off with the fact that the company's done just a couple small acquisitions. CRH Medical for just $369 million US, and MyHealth for 266 million in Canadian. So tell me a little bit more about these acquisitions and what they mean to the company.
Yeah, no, thanks for asking. Listen, the big central idea at WELL is that we have a practitioner enablement platform. We help practitioners, healthcare practitioners, be more successful, and that's the driving force behind the company. That's the central idea. And anytime that we can get access to assets and businesses that have exposure to more practitioners, that's really exciting for us, especially if we think that these assets are tech-enabled to some degree, and they can be even more tech-enabled and digitized. And so CRH was a phenomenal opportunity for us, because not only is there more than 800 healthcare practitioners delivering patient services there, but they also sell products and services into a group of over 3,000 GI physicians in the United States. So if you think about, well, again, central idea is enabling practitioners, and we have two revenue streams. One is selling our products and services to healthcare practitioners outside of our walls, and then the other is having exposure to patient services inside our walls. But they both involve powering practitioners. And so CRH gives us practitioners, and they give us access to practitioners outside of our company. So it's really exciting. And our internal case for that company, business case, was that it would generate more than $40 million US in free cash flow, pre-leverage and tax costs. And it is absolutely on plan, and even ahead of plan a little bit. So we're really, really excited about the progress that they're making. And then MyHealth, the second acquisition that you mentioned, that was really a big deal for us, because it officially makes us the largest owner-operator of outpatient medical clinics in Canada. No other company in the country now has the combination of assets from primary care to specialized care and diagnostics. MyHealth brings, roughly 100 million in revenue on a run rate basis at 20% EBITDA margins. And so when you add that to what CRH would bring, which is over 150 million US in revenue at roughly 40% EBITDA margins, these are two incredible assets, and that bring a lot of practitioner exposure. What's also really, really interesting about MyHealth, to go back to that one quickly, is they have a substantial diagnostic network, so imaging, ultrasound, echocardiograms, nuclear medicine, tumor detection, stuff like that. But they also have a big practitioner network, one of the largest cardiology physician networks in the country, and 75% of all the physician consultations in the MyHealth network are occurring through telehealth. So this just demonstrates that again, WELL's primary care network is about 50% telehealth enabled. Now MyHealth is about 75% telehealth enabled in terms of the physician consultations. And so that's our Canadian network. So that's why we call it omni-channel, because we don't have just a series of brick and mortar locations. We have a very diverse, very very compelling end-to-end, national, network of omni-channel patient services, which is again, kind of completes a very exciting, vision and growth profile for the company.
Very good. Well, congratulations on those two acquisitions. I mean, it's no small feat to get. I mean, those are multi hundreds of millions of dollars of acquisitions. That's a big deal. So, you know, I want to take the conversation now to talking about the digital health space in general. You know, I mean, this is a still relatively a new industry, right? Where there's a lot of companies that, you know, may not even be revenue generating yet, let alone profitable or EBITDA positive. You know, all the good stuff that we know people like to hear. So how in recognizing this, how do you think about that when it comes to Well's strategy and why this acquisitive strategy works for what you guys are trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so you're right. In the grand scheme of things, digital health is still pretty young. This is we just really we got obviously a bunch of multi-year acceleration in all forms of digital healthcare because of the pandemic and physical
Right,
distancing that really forced
right.
virtual business models to take off. But we're still in the infancy of this, you know, and we're still behind other sectors in terms of their use of digital technology. So the way we think about it is, you know, we're very excited about the enthusiasm about digital right now. I think the one thing that the pandemic changed was, you know, healthcare practitioners' view about digital. I think it was before the pandemic, the feeling was that healthcare was behind other sectors, and but there still wasn't a lot of energy and momentum in terms of going through the change management. And so, because change management is very tough in healthcare, it's a very structured, you know, business. There's healthcare practitioners are very burdened. Their time is very valuable. Most of them live in a fee-for-service world, so they really don't want to give up a lot of their time to learn new things. And so, this kind of forced learning that occurred as a result of the pandemic really opened people's eyes as to the productivity enhancements that could be gained through digital health. So now there's a lot more openness, and I think, you know, there is now a bit of an explosion in just, you know, new thinking around this and new implementations, a lot of startup activity. And so Well actually announced a few days ago that we are formalizing Well Ventures, which is, you know, we've already been making minority acquisitions in some of those early stage companies, which are not, you know, mature enough to be purchased on a control basis. So we're very happy to help nurture and grow these early stage companies through our venture arm, our strategic venture arm. And other than that, you know, again, you know, anything that we believe really fits into our strategy as far as enabling practitioners or getting us more involved in delivering patient services and leveraging our platform, you know, we look at. And so we have hundreds of assets in our watch list, and you know, there's a lot of them that are at different stages of maturity, and you know, we're quite scientific and careful and thoughtful about how we you know, look at those.
I was just going to ask about when it comes to criteria when you're looking at some of these strategic acquisitions, because, you know, as we've kind of already talked about, is that it's a very new industry. You know, there's now, because it's kind of been fast tracked with COVID and wanting to, and more practitioners being open to more digital solutions for patient care. You also have to now be careful as an investor yourself, where you're like, all right, what where's the future going, and what will actually then be adopted, despite there being this now openness to new digital ideas and new ways of doing things, right?
Yeah, and so, like, listen, the CRHs and the MyHealths of the world, they're very much focused on, you know, there's a lot of financial number crunching and discipline because they're more mature companies producing EBITDA. So there's some more kind of traditional analysis and review of those types of companies. But then you've got obviously the early stage folks, and to your point, how do you diligence them? And to us, again, it's a lot of it's about, you know, the product market fit that they've exhibited so far, the management teams, you know, what kind of energy have they created, what are their, you know, past accomplishments look like, and you know, obviously, you know, where are they at in their journey, you know, is there an opportunity to come in and be a key partner to them? And that's the other thing too with Well Ventures and Well specifically, we're not just money. We don't just come in and kick in a few bucks. We really want to establish and activate strategic alliances. You know, Well now has, you know, really strong scale in the country, here in Canada and in the US. You know, we have, you know, over $100 million revenue businesses on both sides of the border, telehealth assets, practitioners, you know, so you know, pretty substantial opportunity to activate and enable early stage companies. And so that's really a key part of it too, is getting our business unit leaders involved, getting our ecosystem involved. And that's why WELL Ventures has a strategic advisory group and team that not only helps us make better decisions in the process, but more importantly, post deal, they really kind of stay close to these companies and help them grow and better kind of connect with the WELL ecosystem and the broader ecosystem. So I'd say, you know, key criteria there is connectivity with WELL and helping us, ignite opportunity at WELL, and for us to ignite opportunity with the startup, I think are kind of key tenets.
Very good. So going down this path a little further, when you look at your M&A pipeline and also maybe potential companies for investments via WELL Ventures, what are some pain points right now in the industry that you think might be interesting areas where you might want to, and of course, from what you can tell us, that you may want to, help out in or maybe add to the portfolio or something along those lines?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think in general, I would tell you interoperability is still really poor. Like, I think that there are pockets of the U.S. that are very good, very sophisticated, very modern. You have big HMOs like Kaiser Permanente who've made massive tech investments to bring together a lot of disparate assets, from primary to secondary and so forth, healthcare with broad capability and to be able to really deliver on a strong patient journey. In Canada, because of the fragmentation that we have in our healthcare system, in terms of primary and secondary care, and some of that connective tissue in terms of interoperability lacking, I think that we're really keenly focused on how do we contribute to that? How do we again stitch together that patient journey and help yes, obviously we want to create value for our shareholders, but we really believe value creation occurs as a byproduct of making healthcare better. Helping healthcare get better means making it more seamless, less risks for care plans to be dropped or a patient to be forgotten, which unfortunately does happen. And I think that's why we're really focused on wanting to stitch together, primary, secondary, diagnostic, and hopefully one day getting into acute care and being able to really have an end-to-end network that's national, that not only lives in the outpatient clinic world between different channels, offline and online, but also has really good connectivity into our acute care system. And then that way, again, the patient journey becomes more complete. We start to be able to help patients and even start to be able to help them, on a preventative basis. There's just a lot that we can do with technology to deliver a better patient experience. And again, all of this is really powering the practitioner, because practitioners care for people, not companies, right?
Yeah, oh, 100%. And it's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it blows my mind when you bring up this idea of interoperability, because you're right. It's just like my wife is a nurse over here at St. John's, and we've had conversations, and I know just from experience and talking to some of these EMR companies where just being able to have all these different systems talking to each other, and now making sure to have to accelerate that with COVID so that you can handle patients from a telehealth perspective. It's a really fascinating problem that I'm thankful that smart people like you are trying to tackle right now. So, before I let you go,
Thank you.
yeah, sure. Hold on, pause. Thank you. Yeah.
we're one of many. We the more progress we make, the more we're reminded of the importance of the journey that we have, and we're humble and grateful that we have the opportunity to serve practitioners. And absolutely, the more we do, the more encouraged that we get. So there's a long way to go, but we're going to be around for a long time.
Very good. All right. Okay. Last question before I let you go. Again, from what you can tell us, what would you say are maybe some milestones or things that investors should look out for, let's just say for the rest of 2021?
I think that, there's some great catalysts, I think, that we're considering as a company. We hired Jamil Nesu as our Senior Vice President of Capital Markets. Jamil has an incredible background. He most recently was with Goldman Sachs as a managing director there, had a material role, which he left to join WELL. and to help us consider growing our involvement with capital markets. Primarily, we're looking at the feasibility of a tier 1 listing in the United States. So that's something that we're thinking about very deeply. I think as WELL's gotten bigger, it feels like we have a very good shot at index inclusion for the TSX composite later this year. That would be a really neat event because, of course, then if people are buying the composite, then WELL gets the benefit of that as well. We think that's really neat. We have a really strong group of LOIs that we have currently pending across the entire company. CRH, MyHealth, and WELL's own traditional corp dev efforts. So about 15 that we think will likely drive another 100 million plus in revenue. And I think we feel that with MyHealth we're getting close to that 400 million revenue run rate. With these other LOIs and business development activity we have, we start to get to that really interesting $500 million mark. And I think with the kind of currency that we've been able to build, we think that there's going to be a lot of encouragement and opportunity for us to really accelerate after that. So I mean, listen, we're really focused. We are all about the nuts and bolts. When these companies come in, we are really working hard to ensure that they succeed, that we support the founders and the business leaders that are coming into the company. And so far, I would tell you the organic growth's been really, really strong post deal, and you don't really see a lot of that in consolidation stories. And we are seeing what we feel is a bit of a WELL halo effect. And that's just due to the hard work of everybody. And I think we really want to continue to deliver on a growth story that's highly profitable and build a purposeful company that everyone can be proud of, and hopefully people can hold for a long time and forget about and be surprised about the value creation journey that we've been on and will be on. So that's what I look forward to.
Very good. All right, Hamed, with that, where can our audience go and find more information about WELL Health?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Our website's well.company, so www.well.company. But we're on all the socials. We've got channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We try to deliver fresh content and news to all those channels, so you can sort of sign up and follow us in one of those areas. And yeah, thanks for all the support. That if you're out there, if you're an existing shareholder, we really appreciate it. And if you're not, take a look and see what you think.
Very good. Hamed, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck, stay safe, and I look forward to our next update.
Thanks. I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you, and hope you're well as well. And look forward to one day seeing you in person.
Thank you.